in our pursuit of our highest potential, at times we will fall short of reaching our target. And learning to lose is ultimately a way to manage the setbacks that we will face in life. And this concept of learning to lose has been inspired by my work with elite athletes. So today I'm going to share 5 strategies that we can all use, strategies or tools that we can all use to better navigate life's challenges, right? The moments where we fall short of reaching our aim. So, as I mentioned, I'm a strong advocate for learning to lose, and hopefully these tools will help you in your mission to reach your highest potential. Now, I think it's very important, first of all, to state that learning to lose does not mean that you like to lose. There's a distinction. This is simply equipping you with the tools to navigate loss. And there's 2 categories of loss. The first is short-term loss. This is what we are going to focus on today. These are the setbacks that we all face in life. Usually in this category, it's simply a change in your strategy can still allow you to achieve the goals that you want. However, the second category of loss, these are long-term loss, right? It's more permanent in nature. Here, losing is equated to not being able to still get that result. So even if you change your strategy, you still can't get the outcome. For example, think of a professional athlete, right? Pursuing his dream to go to the Olympics. And reaching his final opportunity to compete at the Olympics, or be selected to compete at the Olympics. This athlete then gets injured. In this situation, the athlete misses out on the last opportunity to qualify for the Olympics before aging out, right? So now the age is counting against them. So it doesn't matter if they come back in 4 years from now, they're going to be too old to be qualifying for their specific sport. In this case, this is an example of a long-term or permanent loss. Your strategies to navigate this are usually underpinned by acceptance. But as I mentioned, we focus on the first sets of loss or category of loss, right? The setbacks. And let me share one of the many setbacks that I face in life. Picture this. I'm in my early 20s. I just graduated from university. I'm in my early 20s, just graduated from university. Excited for what the future holds. But I'm unemployed. I'm applying for several jobs. But I keep getting rejected. And each rejection is slowly eating away at my already low self-image. But I keep persisting and I keep applying. And then one day, I receive an email that reads, "Kyle, you have been pre-selected for postgraduate scholarship, a paid one." Filled with excitement, I'm like, whoa, finally, things seem to be going my way. And I continue to read the email, and right at the bottom it says that the final stage is for me to do a 2-minute presentation to the selection committee, stating on why I deserve this opportunity. I thought to myself, how hard can this be? Anyway, I started preparing. Fast forward to the day of the event. They call my name, and I enter the auditorium. I take a step forward, raise the microphone, about to speak when I look up at the audience. And about 40 people looking down at me. Immediately, I felt a heaviness come over me. I just stood there, heart pounding, filled with anxiety, unable to get the word out. A few seconds later, which to me felt like eternity, I turned around, handed back the microphone, and stormed out of the auditorium. And as you can imagine, I was not awarded the scholarship. After the event, I went to my car, I sat there, tears rolling down my cheeks, feeling really upset and frustrated by the fact that I'd wasted another opportunity. I was like, I made some generalizing statements, some sweeping statements. I'll never amount to anything. This is proof that I can never do anything in life. And I just felt defeated at my lowest. But later that evening, something unexpected happened. I was at my sister's place, watching movies, still feeling sorry for myself, when she entered the room and made a request that shocked me. She was like, "Kyle, do you mind sweeping the porch?" And I looked at her in disbelief, but I got up, grabbed the broom, swept the porch. And as I was sweeping the porch, I was thinking to myself, why would she make a request like this, knowing the day I had just faced, one of my hardest days, and I was at my lowest. And as I was sweeping, I was trying to understand why she would. And then it dawned on me, in life, there is no pause button. At times, we're going to fall short of the results that we desire. But it's important not to sit feeling sorry for yourself for days on end, because life goes on. And indirectly, she taught me this lesson, which also forms part of the first strategy that I'll teach you. Do not marinate in your emotions. So the 5 strategies we will look at today are all designed to help you better navigate moments of setbacks or loss. The very first one is do not marinate in your emotions. We all know losing or failing, right, doesn't feel good. Nobody likes it. And yes, it's important to feel our emotions, but we do not want to let these emotions go on for too long. So we need to be mindful of this. We don't want to spend hours or days on end marinating on a lost opportunity, marinating on a disappointment. And I know we're probably all guilty of this, that we keep replaying the event in our mind over and over. We keep recreating the experiences over and over. And this doesn't do us any justice, because it keeps us in that state. But secondly, it doesn't help us move any closer towards our goals. So this is the first strategy. And let's move on to the second strategy. The second strategy is turn down the noise. In the moments of loss, the first thing that gets amplified is the noise, both internally and externally. The inner critic becomes so loud, and it makes sweeping statements. You will never be enough. You are not worth it. What's the point, right? And we want to watch this, because this negative voice becomes so loud and starts assigning labels to us that we might just believe. So in this situation, we need to challenge this narrative, right? Speak back to it. And once again, over here, top athletes can teach us this, right? They're a great example of this, because they deal with this on an ongoing basis. Both the internal narrative, the inner critic, as well as external voices. The media, fans. The next strategy is cognitive flexibility. You see, it's very important for us to have a narrow focus on our aim, the target that we want, the outcomes that we want to achieve. It's very important. But when we fall short of this, we need to have the flexibility to quickly move to secondary wins. So what do I mean by secondary wins? Let's first look at primary objective and secondary wins. Primary objective is the main goal that you have. What's the aim? What's the target? Right? You all know what it is. That's the thing that I'm pursuing. Now, in pursuit of this particular target or objective, automatically or as a byproduct, there are also secondary wins. These are things that happen as a result of you being focused and working towards your primary outcome. And it's in these moments where we fall short of the primary outcome that we need to look at what are the secondary wins. Here, typically, it's things that you've gained, discovered, or become, right? I'll give you an example of how a client had done that. So a client of mine recently went to the Paralympic Games, and he was pretty excited. His target or his goal was to get a medal. On the day, unfortunately, fell short of this desired outcome. Now it's been easy for him to be extremely disappointed and upset and frustrated, but immediately he moved from the primary objective, which was the medals that he wanted, to the secondary wins. And some of the secondary wins that he identified was, 1, getting to represent his country at one of the biggest competitions in the world. 2, getting to compete against the best in the world. And 3, being at the competition as a guy who grew up in an impoverished township in South Africa, where many people told him he's wasting his time. Those were all secondary wins. And that allowed him to develop gratitude, so that is the third strategy or tool that we can all utilize, right? We want to have cognitive flexibility. Focus on the core outcome that you want, but in the times that you fall short, immediately identify what are the byproducts, right? What are the wins that I gained through this entire process? And now we will go to the fourth one, which is, what is the big picture, right? You see, when we lose or fall short of the results we want, this can also leave us feeling demotivated and deflated. But simply reminding yourself of the bigger picture, reminding yourself of your why you need to accomplish this goal in the first place, why you are on the path in the first place, can help you be more motivated and more resilient in the face of setbacks. And studies in psychology have actually found this, right? Where people who reminded themselves of their why were more resilient and motivated in the face of setbacks. So it's been proven. So something that we want to leverage, a tool we want to leverage in the moments where we face our own setbacks. So I'll give you an example. Going back to my failed presentation, right? In that moment, it was easy. When I identified I had a fear of public speaking, it was easy for me to avoid any situations related to public speaking. But I realized the bigger picture. The bigger picture was the fact that I wanted to be able to share the psychological strategies that can help people navigate life and reach their potential. I wanted to share it, and with groups. And the only way I could do that is if I confronted my fear of public speaking. So because of that, because I held the bigger picture in mind, I was more resilient and more motivated. I was willing to approach it, to confront this setback, this obstacle in my way. It just became an obstacle, another obstacle. So when we do fall short of our results, go back, remind yourself, why did I need to achieve this in the first place? And how does this fit into the bigger picture of my life? And then the final strategy or tool that we can all learn is to raise the mirror, right? Personal accountability. You know, in moments where we don't get the results we want, it's easy for us to start pointing the finger. I blame you and I blame you, right? That we never got the results that we wanted. But we need to be very mindful of this. Doing this is another way of giving away your power. The only way that you can actually get the results that you really want is to start looking at, how can I take personal accountability? What areas did I personally fall short in? And you see, this will give you data points that can help you create a plan to actually confront this thing, this failure or setback. Now, going back to the presentation example that I used, right? In that moment, I realized the reason I failed, right, that presentation, the scholarship, was because, yes, I was inexperienced in public speaking. Also, I realized the second one was that my anxiety was out of control, right? I didn't know how to manage it. And my anxiety was fueled by my low self-image. Having these two data points allowed me to say, okay, Kyle, now I have control to create a plan to help me overcome this. So hopefully today you will have 5 new tools or strategies that you can put in your own toolbox that can help you navigate life, that can help you move towards your own potential. Because the reality is that it's okay to speak about goals, setting big goals, and reaching for them. It's okay. But what about the moments when we confront failure or setbacks? How do we get back up? How are we going to be more resilient in the face of adversity? And now you have certain tools that you can utilize in those moments.